Well, I guess every piece in the show has a thread of this place in it, whether it be the wood that's surfacing it, as well as like the constituents in the clay. So a lot of the pieces will have clays from this area, or feldspathic sands, or rocks that I've gathered and used conceptually to tie it to this place, but also aesthetically. With wood firing, basically we're making glass out of wood. So we're firing the kiln hot enough to volatilize the minerals in the wood, and it basically creates a glaze on the work. Traditionally, when a potter is mixing glazes, they would combine things like calcium, potassium, iron, silica to create a glaze, and the process of wood firing is basically just liberating those from the wood and then using the flame to carry those onto the work. Within that process, there's only so much we can manipulate, and one of the big things is loading the kiln. So when we load the kiln, we have a huge influence on the way the flame moves through the kiln. We can create shadows. There's a number of different regions in the kiln, so there's areas that are closer to where the wood is combusting that get a lot of glass. It's very common to see glass dripping down or around the forms that you're making. I have a few pieces here, like this guy. You can see like a drip of glass coming off the front of this vase here. Generally speaking, the color we get out of, or you can get out of a wood kiln, is a symbiosis between the clay and the minerals in the wood. So often a wood firer will mix specific clay bodies to get specific colors and use specific woods. So that's a big part of my research, is mixing different clays with different constituents and then using different woods at different periods of the firing to achieve different colors. I feel like the show is divided into two related themes that definitely have overlap to each other. One of the rooms or galleries in the show is paying homage to my training as a potter. Everything in that room is functional or is utilitarian in nature or vessel orientated, and explores the theme of the show, being this place in relationship to wood firing. And then the other side of it is exploring that same concept without any parameters of function. Wood firing really suits who I am. I don't really want to control things. I like the term influence rather than control. I definitely feel like it's a collaborative sort of process where I only have a certain amount of say, and there's other variables that I'll never be able to control. It keeps it exciting. Every time you unload the kiln, there's work that you didn't quite predict would come out this way, or there's surprises, or there's a mystery there. I think I'm addicted a little bit to the search for something new, the search for something that I've never seen before. I never fire the kiln the same way twice. I never load it the same way twice. I'm not really interested in having the production sort of style of firing. Like I'm more interested in the learning, I guess. And that's sort of what drives me from firing to firing. Really, the unloading of each firing and the work sort of instructs the next body of work and the next firing. So every kiln is unloaded and there's notes taken, and then there's a plan made for the next firing in terms of what materials we're going to have in it and what variables we're going to shift. It's interesting thinking about place in relationship to all of ceramics. Historically, ceramics were sort of defined by place. Like before globalization, the potter only had the materials that they could carry to their studio. And with globalization, it's almost become like a drive-through, like a fast food sort of approach to it, where you can order any material in the world. And I think there's a growing underground movement, so to speak, of people that are kind of taking it back to exploring their locale. And I don't think it's necessarily a backward way either. It's kind of like it's not leaving any of that knowledge behind. It's taking what we've learned through the whole progression of society and adding to it. I love this place, and I think I want to get to know it in a more intimate way and listen to what it has to offer. And I guess this is like a way to translate that, or to study it, if you will.